Alright everyone, I just finished up watching the show Invincible on Amazon Prime, and there's been a lot of rave reviews over this show, and it currently has an 8.8 out of 10 on IMDb, and I think it's time that I kind of give my thoughts and opinions on the show, so spoilers are ahead. If you don't want this show spoiled at all, click off the video and come back to it at a later date. So Invincible, I enjoyed this show for what it was, but it didn't really blow my socks off, if you know what I mean. It wasn't just like, wow, this is just a captivating experience and this is super duper cool. I feel like if I never have seen The Boys before watching this, I would have liked it a lot more, but since The Boys is very similar to this show, just in live action form and done probably a little bit better in my opinion, it kind of takes away the goriness and coolness of Invincible, and I think that's the main thing that I took out of this show is it's good, and it's fun, and it's gory, and it's interesting, but it's just not as good as The Boys, and it's hard not to compare the two since they're both R-rated superhero shows. So with that said, I do think it's enjoyable. I would not give it an 8.8 out of 10. I think it's a solid 7, 7.5 out of 10. There's some good moments in the show, but overall, it just feels a little meh to me in some parts. Some of the characters are interesting, but other ones are not really. And the big mystery throughout the whole first season is why Omni-Man killed the Guardians, which is like the Justice League of the show. I get it, they didn't want to reveal it to the final episode, but it just kind of got a little annoying after like the fourth episode of like, okay, we know he did it, but why? And he won't say, and blah, blah, blah. And eventually, it was revealed because he just doesn't really care about humans at all, and he wants to take over the planet for his own planet, Viltrum or whatever it's called. So that stuff is fine. I like Mark Grayson. I think Steven Yeun does a really good job voicing this character and bringing it to life, and I think his character is fun. Some of the other characters are good, like the Amber Girl and the Adam Eve Girl are fun, and some of the other superhero characters are somewhat interesting, but there's no characters that is like, yeah, that character is like super duper interesting. There's some good ones, no great ones, and there's some okay ones, and that's just about it. I know it feels like I'm kind of ragging on the show, but I'm not. Like, it's enjoyable. It's only 8 episodes. I would suggest you watch it. But if you've seen The Boys, I feel like you probably feel the same way as I do. It's just hard not to compare the two and also look at The Boys as the superior show, and it's done in live action. The Boys is a great show. It's captivating and it's great. Invincible, it's a fun little show. And again, if The Boys didn't exist, this show probably would have been like, whoa, I've never seen so much gore in a superhero format before. But I have with The Boys now, so it's kind of like, meh, it's not as just like, wow, it's not as mind-blowing as it could have been. If you didn't know, this show is actually based off the comic book Invincible, made by Robert Kirkman, also the creator of The Walking Dead. So there's a ton of Walking Dead cameos in Invincible, and I will go through them here in a sec, and with some other notable names that are in this show. There's a ton of stars in this show, and I think honestly that's the coolest thing about this show is all the voices and voice cameos that actually made an appearance in this show. So here are all the famous people that I recognize within this show. So we have Steven Yeun as Mark Grayson, J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man, Sandra Oh as Deborah Grayson, Zazie Beetz, hope I said her name correctly, she's from Deadpool. She plays Amber. We have Walter Goggins as Cecil. We have Zachary Quinto as Robot. Jillian Jacobs as Adam Eve. Jason Madzakis, I know I didn't say his name right, but he's Raffi from The League and a plethora of other things. He plays Rexplode. King Ezekiel, Carrie Payton as Black Samson. The guy who voices Mr. Krabs, Clancy Brown's in it. Mark Hamill's in it. Ross Marquand, Aaron from The Walking Dead's in it. Marshala Ali, he's in it. Jack Ham's in it. Seth Rogen's in it. Lauren Cohen's in it. Chad L. Coleman is in it. Tyrese from The Walking Dead. Abraham from The Walking Dead. Michael Cudlitz. Michael Dorn. Worf himself is in it. Ezra Miller. Lenny James. Sonequa Martin Green. Justin Whalen. And Reginald Vell Johnson, a.k.a. Officer Pal from Die Hard and Family Matters, is in this show. And there's some other people that you may recognize, but they're not as notable, at least to me. But there's a ton of stars in this show, and I think, again, that is the coolest part of this show is all of the voice cameos and voice characters from other things that I've enjoyed over the years, and it's pretty cool how they're all kind of in one. Another thing, too, in Episode 1, when Omni-Man kills all of the original Guardians, I'm pretty sure every character that was a Guardian is voiced by a Walking Dead character. So that was pretty cool. And I really did enjoy that little Easter egg. If you didn't look at it beforehand, you probably wouldn't have picked it up right away. But when I looked at it, I was like, oh, snap, like, that's that guy. And that's her. Like Lauren Cohen was like War Woman, and Lenny James was like the equivalent of like the Batman character, and so forth. It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I love all the cameos in this. But overall, the show is pretty entertaining. I'd say give it a watch if you have Amazon Prime. It's definitely not a waste of your time. It's only 8 episodes. It goes super quick. There's some slow moments, but really it's a good amount of action, good amount of character development throughout the whole show. And like I said, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely recommend watching it. And I'm looking forward to see what they do in season 2 whenever that does come out. So if you watched Invincible, what are your thoughts on the show? Let me know down below in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, guys, everyone have a great day. Thanks for watching.